Attached Paranormal is a horror film from 2021. This is written and directed by Rob Jankowski, and we have a cast including Jankowski, Bobby Mercado, Jeff Dernlan, Jack Cullinan, and Marie Lynn. And I like the idea. There are some good aspects. For example, the protagonist is very likable. We have a very believable performance. And we have some really good camera work as well. But as a horror, it's very, very boring. And it kind of feels like a Paranormal Activity film. And unfortunately, I find the Paranormal Activity films to be very, very boring. They are, as I've kind of described before, horror for people who don't like horror. So if you're not a big fan of horror films, but you're looking for something that maybe is a little spooky eventually, it might be okay. But if you're looking for a scary horror film, and particularly if you don't find Paranormal Activity to be scary, it's not worth watching. I'm not going to compare it to the Paranormal Activity films, but just in terms of trying to find an audience for it, if you liked those films, you might like this. Also, there is a cat. There is an adorable cat. And I wish more horror films had cats. Often when a horror film has a cat, the cat is either evil or something horrible happens to it. This has an adorable cat, and I rather liked it. And at some point there is, somebody's found dead in their house, and the police think that they took their own life. But years later, the detective's son uncovers the surveillance footage from the house. They decide to watch this, and there is a suggestion that actually maybe something paranormal was involved in this death, and that is what the film is about. The camera work is great. I think they got the atmosphere right with the camera work. The lighting's very good. The camera angles. It felt like I was watching this footage, so that was very believable. Our protagonist, as I said, is very likable. The performance there is very good. The only issue, and it's a big issue because it's a horror, is that it's not scary. And I can identify one point towards the end where some people might find it scary if they're not really that big of a fan of horror films. They don't watch a lot of horror. They maybe have a lower threshold for scary films. I know not everybody likes horror very much, and that's obviously absolutely fine. I can identify a couple of moments towards the end, probably in the last quarter of the film, where there are identifiable horror aspects. But for the most part, nothing scary happens. And it's not even that it's slowly building suspense, it is simply that nothing scary happens. So there are plenty of good aspects about the film. The technical aspects are all very well done. The performance, character writing, absolutely fine. It is simply not a scary film. So if you don't love really scary films, but you like the concept of this, maybe check it out. As I said, if you like Paranormal Activity films, you might enjoy this. I cannot stand them. I've recently rewatched the first couple, and I ultimately ended up watching a few others that I hadn't seen. I think I've seen the first 4 Paranormal Activity films, and they're just so mundane. They're so dry, they're so boring. And this one kind of has a similar feel to it in places, certainly like the earlier Paranormal Activity films. So if you like that kind of atmosphere, and you actually maybe do find the Paranormal Activity films scary, obviously people are going to find different things scary. Clearly there's an audience for those films. That means that there's probably an audience for this as well. A great film in every way except the horror aspect. So I didn't love it, but I can see there maybe being an audience for it. It didn't work for me, but there are aspects of Attached Paranormal that do work really well. The horror didn't work well, but the rest of it is fine. So if you think you might like it, give it a go. But for me, it didn't really feel like a horror film.